Neil, starting with you a bit, you've talked frequently about your background, but would you like to take us back a bit into the beginning? Like, what was your first entrepreneurial project? How you first started, and what was the trajectory? How you end up doing the things that you're doing today?
Yeah, sure. So first off, thanks for having me. Really appreciate being here. And everyone attending, thank you for taking the time to attend. But yeah, I've been an entrepreneur for a long time. I got started when I was 15 and a half, believe it or not, roughly 16. I'm 34 to give you some context, or 30, technically 35. Um, I'm getting older and older, and I'll end up turning 40 in a few years. So I'm no longer that young entrepreneur. Um, but when I first started, I started with a job board that people could go and find jobs online, because I was looking for a job myself. I couldn't find a job. So I was like, I might as well go create a place where other people can find jobs. Because as I was searching, one of the job websites that I was on was making hundreds of millions of dollars. So I was like, if I copy them and I do 1% of what they were doing, I'll be successful. And I created the job board. It got no traffic, no visitors. And it was at that moment that I realized you had to do marketing. And a little bit naive, I should have known that, but I was a young kid. Now I know marketing just doesn't happen. You have to take the time and effort. And then I did a few other businesses, from an ad agency to some software companies. But one thing that's been consistent that really helped me get to where I am, people always ask, what's that one silver bullet that really propelled your career? And I always tell people there wasn't one thing, it was a lot of little things that added up. The second thing I tell people is there's nothing that propelled my career and just made it explode. It happened slowly over time. But if I had to pick one thing that's really helped me grow, it's to keep creating content and courses and educating and helping people out. And courses come in all shapes and sizes. I've done videos on YouTube. I've done ebooks, PDFs. I've done blog posts, just educating in general and training people and helping people. I found that that's really helped me grow and build up an audience, which has helped me make money in this world and grow.
I can relate very much to what you're saying. Even, I mean, if any successful person you see, like in what they're doing, at the beginning, you will find a very naive idea of how things work and how things should happen. And then, reality starts kicking in, that there's no silver bullet, that you need to like do lots and lots and lots of things, and the little pieces that actually at some point start adding up and create some value. I'm older than you, but I was, I guess, more naive when we started. We were researchers. We're creating platforms. I have a PhD from the university, so obviously we knew everything that is there is to know around e-learning. So we thought that we had built the best possible platform, and in terms of e-learning, it was amazing. But then we thought naturally that we just put it out there, and people will naturally see that this is the best product. And then we realized that it doesn't work this way. You have to market it. You have to put it in front of people's eyes. They have to use it. You have to learn about funnels. So and again, I can also verify that even in like what we do, which is like a software as a service, there's no silver bullets. Lots and lots
None.
of different things, getting slightly 0.5% better every day, every week, every month. The little things that will keep adding up and creating something meaningful. Can you tell me a couple of things about? We are in 2021, almost a
Yep.
year to the day from the onset of the pandemic and when lockdown started happening. How was this year for your business in terms of the services that you provide, but also in general for the online business industry, for everything that's happening? How did you see things play out?
So the first part of 2020, the first quarter wasn't too bad, but the moment the pandemic hit, a lot of us struggled in quarter two of 2020, right? People were scared. We were not sure what was going to happen. Budgets got restricted. People started hoarding all their money. And I don't blame them. I was one of them. I did similar things. But what all happened is, and most people don't know this, so before the pandemic, only 12% of commerce happened online. When I mean commerce, I'm talking about transactions on sites like Amazon, even services. If you buy a service through the internet or a law firm or anything, just online transactions, which is pretty much anything online, only accounted for 12%. Majority of transactions still happened offline. That means 88% were happening offline. Now, I don't have any recent stats or data because I don't think anyone's refreshed it since after the pandemic, but more has gone online. It hasn't even doubled though. It's not like we've gone from 12% to 24% or anything like that. Still, majority of transactions happen offline. At least from some of the articles I've read, but no one's done a full analysis yet, but it showed that it's increased substantially, but it's not doubled or tripled. For example, if it doubled or tripled, Amazon would have made double or triple the revenue, which they didn't. I think during some of the quarters, they were seeing a 40+% growth from year over year, but it was still a good growth. And generally speaking, my business, because we help people on the digital side, started growing. It didn't grow at a faster pace, believe it or not. It just started growing back to its normal trajectory. So we didn't grow faster. We just went back to our normal trajectory. But there's some industries like yours and anyone who's listening who's doing courses that grew at a much, much faster clip. Because remember, education typically is taught at a college level, university level, in-person level. That went away. So there wasn't the option to do in person for most countries. So where do you go for learning now? You had to go online. And we saw the course business boom, just massive. In many cases, double, sometimes even triple. We saw it just boom. Now the growth has slowed down. We don't see the doubling, tripling anymore in the course business. I don't know if you see it anymore, but it's still grown good, but we don't see it doubling or tripling anytime soon, but it's still really massive. And what people learned from this whole COVID situation was you can actually learn online for cheaper and get more relevant information and learn faster. See, you go to university, you get some custom training in person. It may take you 3-6 months to learn. You got to drive there, spend money on gas and park and pay high fees. Courses are very affordable. Even if a course is $1,000, it's very affordable compared to offline learning. And here's the kicker that most people don't tell you. A lot of universities teach my marketing material. I've had emails from professors at Harvard, from Stanford, some of the biggest universities. And these colleges charge an arm and a leg. And we get a lot of colleges in California teaching, and they use my material and we let them use it for free. Here's the thing. When you go and you pay all this money and they're teaching out of the textbook, it's outdated and a lot of it's not practical. That doesn't help you in the real world. What people have found from everything that we've seen, when you spend money on courses, you're learning in-depth new information. You're learning it much quicker and it's practical where you can implement it. You can get something out of it. And I think there's this shift that's going to happen over the next few years, even after we come out of COVID, in which people will realize you can learn a lot better online, whether it's with paid courses or free courses or just going on YouTube and watching videos. There's so much information online. I do believe learning is going to change because you've known this for a while, but nothing's really changed in learning on the online end. You could always go to YouTube and learn pretty much anything for free. You could always buy courses and learn. But people had this mental roadblock that they felt that offline education in person was better. And then when they were forced to, they had no choice but to do it online. That's when we really saw people changing because they're like, wait, this is actually better. We've had so many people who told us, hey, I was learning marketing in college because I wanted the degree, had no choice but to start learning more online. And wait, it's actually better. It's cheaper. I'm actually learning more and it's more practical. And they're seeing that with so many industries and so many subjects that I think you're going to see a change that is going to carry forward after COVID as well, in which people will continue to learn online and it'll actually grow at a much faster pace. Maybe not at the 3x during COVID or 2x, but it'll still grow at a very generous, nice percentage, in my opinion.
I completely agree with you here. And Judge, I've been in the e-learning space in the research first for more than 20 years now. We started with my co-founders. We started in the university building. We built our first e-learning platform back in 1999. It was a whole different world. Internet, so much slower. You couldn't do actual real video, all the things that you read, we read in the books. And then in 2010, 11, it became more and more prominent that you could get not just lots of huge numbers of videos online on YouTube, but you could also get decent packaged knowledge in a structured format. There was Linda and Team Treehouse, and
Yeah.
increasingly, if you wanted to become let's say, a web developer, or you wanted to delve into digital marketing, you didn't have to go to university. In fact, your worst option would probably
Yeah.
be to go to the university, get tons of student debt, and read something that probably you wrote 2 years ago, and get this there for fresh. Obviously, this will not replace every discipline. I mean, you would
Yeah.
like your doctor
Yeah.
to
You
come
want to,
out
yeah,
of
exactly. You want to
yeah,
be a doctor, you still need
yeah.
to go get the
But
certification.
in certain disciplines, doesn't make sense. And it's not only about like practical professional applicable knowledge, but it's also about edutainment. If you want to do, I don't know, knitting and cooking, and learning to do, I don't know, dancing, there are so many things that you can do now online. And I think there is a
No, no,
COVID.
let me interrupt one moment. I do apologize interrupting, but I want to go back to the doctor example. Okay. I met up with the company months ago that was changing how doctors learn. And they were saying you go to college, you need to, but a lot of the stuff, when you actually go practice being a doctor, you run into a lot of edge cases and scenarios that school did not teach you. So this company, I forgot their name, created something that fits on the iPhone, and all the nurses and doctors use it, and they have a lot of hospitals. So when cases and all these things happen, they're sharing it. So then now doctors, when they're going out there dealing with new diseases, new rare cases, they're able to better assess the situation and make better informed decisions. That's a version of e-learning, right? You're learning on the
Definitely.
spot. And don't get me wrong, it doesn't mean that you still don't need to go to school to be a doctor, but the doctors and the nurses are feeling that they're being not just more efficient, but they're able to better care for their patients, right? That's the power of e-learning. Now, think about what you're doing. It's eventually going to be taken to every single industry out there. And that's why I do believe courses and e-learning is a big part of the future.
Mhm. I totally agree here. One of the first projects that we got involved as a company was a school with some of the top world's neurosurgeons, actual recorded surgeries, very specific techniques and very specific cases, and surgeons from all the world would subscribe to this online school, and they were learning about the top techniques. So we are definitely going, and we continue to be going into a world of where constant training and retraining and reskilling and upskilling will be required in every job and in every discipline. So we do believe that the future of learning is definitely online, and more of this will happen. So as I see it from our
But
point.
it hasn't even started yet. What I
Mhm,
mean is, or it has started, but it's just at the beginning.
mhm,
Because parents these days, their kids are starting to learn online through e-learning, and they're realizing how powerful it is. For example, my daughter learns with other kids. My daughter is not even 2 years old. In a few months, she'll turn 2. She knows her colors. She knows her numbers. She even knows her continents, and she knows some countries on a map. She can point out China, India, Brazil, Chile, and so forth, so on. She's not even 2. And if she went to normal school and learned the traditional way, she wouldn't learn any of this. But through online, she's learning faster. Now, imagine 10 years from now, if anyone listening now, if you get into courses, you start pushing harder, you start selling more, imagine how big it's going to be 10 years from now.
mhm, mhm. I totally agree. The way we see it, there was the pre-COVID era where we had the early adopters. So online courses were doing great. It was an industry that was growing 100% per year before COVID. Amazing platforms. It's not just LearnWorlds, obviously other people that have pushed the envelope and created some amazing platforms, amazing online courses. But these were the early adopters. But now everybody is onto online courses. During the peak of the pandemic, we were talking about school closures in 170 countries. So at one point, we had 1.6 billion kids who couldn't go to school directly. Not all of them had access to like to a top laptop or to a top internet connection, but they were playing with some version or another of e-learning, accessing content remotely. So this is here to stay, and it will continue to be the paradigm going further. So we definitely want to go back. We were discussing about this previously. We're going to go back to a conference. We're going to go back to a classroom, learn together, shake hands. However, I cannot imagine a world where now that people have experienced how cost effective and cost efficient e-learning can be, where a business, let's say, that wants to train 500 people, they get them into a hotel for 5 hours of PowerPoint. There will be a riot. I don't know. Not the students will not take it, and the management will not take it. We will have smarter ways of doing the things that are happening best online, do the e-learning online, and then do other kind of hybrid experiences and networking and socializing and discussing, doing that in the physical world, what would make more sense.
Yep.
So do you expect, is the genie out of the bottle, or do you expect that there will be also from our own point of view, from the students' point of view, or from us as a consumers, as consumers, a backlash? Like I don't know. Once we get all vaccinated, we'll say no. I want to get detoxificated from online courses, and I just want to study books. Let's say I don't know for 6 months or something.
So I think what's going to happen is once we figure out a solution to COVID where we can live a somewhat normal life, I do believe you're going to see a slowdown on online commerce, in which people are going to travel, go out, party, because they haven't done it for such a long time. You're going to see a boom in things like the restaurants and all that kind of stuff. But after a few months of that happening, 3+ months or so, I would say give her plus or minus 3 or so months. Maybe it takes 6 months max. I still think you're gonna have courses and everything booming much more than they were before. Reason being is it's more affordable, you learn better information, and it takes less time to consume. There's more advantages than disadvantages. There's more advantages of learning through courses than there are from learning from universities. Think of it this way. Peter Thiel, who was the first investor in Facebook, he also created Palantir, which is publicly traded, and was one of the co-founders of PayPal, and was Founders Fund, right? They invested in companies like SpaceX. He went to Stanford, a very well-educated person. He pays people not to go to college in one of his programs because he thinks it's a waste of time. Not for every profession. He's saying you want to be a doctor, go to Stanford, Harvard, or whatever school you want to. But for most people, he's saying don't waste your time. That's a lot saying coming from someone who, went to Stanford and is paying people not to. And I believe you're going to see that in, much more, it's going to be much more common post-COVID, because people have seen it with their own eyes and experience how much more they can learn online. My wife and I have. Our daughter, when we were talking to some private schools, these schools would have cost for our child to go to school, I kid you not, $30,000 a year being 2 years old. And they're like, by the time she's 4 or 5, she'll learn her colors and her alphabets. And I'm like, she's not even 2 and she already knows her colors. She already knows her alphabets. She even knows some continents. She knows some countries. And I'm like, she's learning much more online from YouTube, and it's free.
Great. It's going to be a very interesting mix. I think people have massively been educated in lots of digital services, not just online courses, but also e-commerce, and now everybody thinks that probably were natural to us. I don't know, doing an online transaction and getting out your credit card, or using some kind of service. Now we see people from 2 years old to 102 years old, and they're accessing content, doing Zoom, doing Skype, Teams, whatever, all these little things. So they have been massively educated on what is possible in the online realm. And this is not just about online courses in a narrow sense. It's I would say more about the knowledge economy and the like. digital products and digital services being exchanged for and creating value. Online courses is just one form. It's a bit narrow if you think of it like that. I always say that online courses are the ebooks of 2020. Anything that we used to do with an ebook 20 years ago, like position ourselves as an expert, getting, I don't know, a page on Amazon, or obviously selling this, or getting leads in exchange for an ebook. Now you can do that much more in a much better sense with an online course. But there's so much value that you can create around an online course. You can create a community, and then you can create an amazing viable business on your knowledge and on the things that you know, and on the things that you share with others. So there's definitely lots of potential. To make this a bit more practical now, what as this landscape changes now, what do you see are the major trends for digital marketing now? So how things have changed, or do you expect them to change in how we promote our services or we promote our products? What channels will continue to work, and what perhaps we'll have to do differently?
So there's quite a few changes that we're seeing in digital marketing. The first is you have to go omni-channel. Here's what I mean by that. Before, you could sell things online and build a business online through one channel. Facebook grew through the email referral. Hey, your friend John invited you on Facebook, click here. There were companies like Dropbox that grew through social media saying, tweet this to get more free space. You can no longer build a business through one channel because any channel that works for a business eventually gets crowded, right? And what we're seeing is you now have to use SEO, paid advertising, social media marketing, content marketing, email marketing, SMS marketing, webinars. You have to use a combination of everything because each channel still works, but not as effective as they used to because there's more competition. So you got to leverage them all. The second thing that we're seeing in digital is people want to consume new, fresh information, and new, fresh information is going to win in marketing. Here's the example. Most people don't know there's over 1 billion blogs on the internet. That's roughly one blog for every 7 people. Do we really need more blogs? Not really. So when you post content on Facebook, you post content on Google, if it's not the freshest, latest, up-to-date, unique information, it doesn't do as well because most consumers have already seen it. So you need to start doing new, fresh stuff. You can't just have outdated information and create that and publish it and expect it to do well. The next thing that we're still seeing is we're seeing more and more algorithm changes. It's actually increasing over time. Google releases over 8 or 9 algorithm changes per day on average. Facebook constantly changing the algorithm, and it's harder to get more reach. Same with Instagram. So the people who do the best are the ones who control their own destiny. You have to build up your own audience. You can't just rely on having more Facebook followers. You can't just rely on Google, ranking your website high. So you need to start doing things like collecting emails. You need to start getting push notification subscribers. You need to start collecting your own phone numbers so you can do SMS marketing. But you need to start controlling your own destiny so you can communicate directly with your own audience and you can communicate directly with them.
It's a great insights what you mentioned here, and I would like to touch upon the thing that you've mentioned, controlling your own destiny. And this is also why we believe that the future of online courses is direct to consumer retail learning, to put it in such a way where you have your own space. You're not dependent on a distribution channel like Udemy or whatever, something that can really take your traffic away from you, but you have your own website, your own white label website, where you have access to your audience, access to their emails, access to your community, and where you can use all these different channels. Use them by all means, all of them. The more you use obviously channels that are relevant to your audience, the better it will become, and you will not be dependent upon one algorithm change that might knock you down. But you can use Udemy to drive traffic to your website. But if you're on Udemy, I see now a question here from Michael. If you're on Udemy, you don't control your pricing. You don't know who your students are. You don't get their emails. You don't get nothing. So It's a nice, I mean, it's a great company. It started, it got lots of people onto online courses, and there's some amazing creators are in there. By all means, be there, but you need to control your own resources, and you need to have your own business in the box. An e-learning website can become easily a business in the box, where you control all the experience and you use strategically all the different channels in an omni-channel approach, as you called it, to get more and more traffic and valuable leads to your site. One of the top questions we always get from people is about SEO, which is one of the channels that people understand what it means, but it's so arcane in how you use it effectively, like what you do and how you can get it work. It's naturally it's one of the channels that we first used as a startup ourselves, because we had zero budget, so we couldn't pay for ads, we couldn't do anything like that. The only thing that we could do is write a couple of blog posts and hoping that I don't know, the algorithm will pick it up. Is SEO still relevant in this market? And as an online course creator who is just starting out, or perhaps has a site or a blog, what are the couple of basic things that you can do to start out working with this channel? And I'm saying that because on your website you have amazing information tools also that help with SEO, so you're one of the go-to experts for this.
Yeah, so the best way to get SEO traffic is to create a blog and create content. Google loves content. It was funny. I released a blog post this morning called "The New Way to Blog," and it breaks down how to do SEO in today's era, because what worked 5 years ago doesn't work as well today. And 5 years ago, I could write a blog post on anything and it would get social shares, it would get backlinks, and it would get Google traffic. That's not the case anymore. And there's a new formula that I want people to follow. What we learned is you need to create a combination of expert content and basic content, or advanced content and basic content. So we recommend 40% of the times you go out there and you create basic content. This is content like how to create an online course. That's considered basic content. How to sell an online course. And these basic keywords have a lot of traffic. They're not necessarily the highest converting, but they have a lot of traffic. This is the stuff that tends to rank high on Google, but doesn't get as many backlinks, and it doesn't get as many social shares, because a lot of people don't want to share on Facebook an article on how to create an online course, or what is an online course and how does it work. Then the next type of content, I want you to spend 10% of your time on this, is advanced content. Advanced content is stuff like how to convert blog readers into how to convert blog readers into ebook purchasers, right? It's more advanced. People already have blog traffic. I'm trying to figure out the steps I need to take to get them down my funnel. Or, how to reduce checkout cart abandonment rate, right? That's more advanced. You get what I mean? They already figured out how to get sales. They're trying to figure out how to fine tune. And that kind of stuff tends to generate more backlinks and social shares. And the how-tos are probably bad titles for the advanced stuff. But you could have stats and data. Like some of my advanced articles are like 17 trends that show where social media is going, or 17 charts that are showing how the future of content marketing. And the charts have data. Anything that has a lot of data, stats, that's backed up with actionable steps, that's advanced, that stuff tends to get more backlinks, but not as many social share, not as much SEO traffic, because not too many people are searching for, charts that show the future of social media marketing. But that's the stuff that gets linked to because people want to know all that data. And even though that content doesn't get a lot of SEO traffic, when you spend 10% of your time creating that kind of content, it generates backlinks, which makes your overall website rank higher. So your basic content will start climbing in the ranks in Google. Now, then I want you to spend 20% of your time updating your old content. Remember how we talked about, look, there's so many blogs on the internet, over 1 billion. So, algorithms want fresh, new, updated content. So you need to update your old content, keep it relevant, so then that way you can keep getting more and more traffic to your older articles. Then the remaining 30% of the time, I want you to spend marketing, right? You can't forget the marketing and content marketing. That's why it's called not content. It's called content marketing because you have to spend a portion of the time marketing. And there's 3 things that you can do to market that are easy that'll help you get more SEO traffic. The first is every time you release a new article, go into 3 of your older articles and link to the newer articles. So then that way Google can pick up the newer articles and it starts ranking a little better. The second thing you can do is beg for social shares. Look to see who tweets out competitor articles on Twitter or sharing it on Facebook. Go to those people, beg them, ask them to share your content and tell them how it's better, and ask them if they, or tell them that, hey, if they need you to share anything, that you're willing to do it as well. There's nothing wrong with them sharing your content and you sharing theirs. It's a great way to get more social shares. The third thing I want you to do is to beg for links. Go use tools like Ubersuggest, see who links to your competition, hit them up and tell them how your article is better and ask them to link to yours. A lot of people will say no, portion will say yes, but it adds up. It's a simple way to build more links. If you do that, you'll then now create content, you'll generate traffic from social, generate traffic from referral traffic, right? Other people link to you, and you'll get your SEO traffic. That's how you succeed in today's environment.
Great recipe. I hope people are taking notes. And we've seen in the past couple of years how, I mean, you mentioned a billion blogs, but still there are blogs that are useful and need to be written. And hopefully people can create great content around them. And this is one of the reasons that we a couple of years ago we also updated our website builder, and we added the possibility of creating a blog, because more and more people were asking, we're trying to create awareness around their online courses. The good thing with course creators is that they are content creators as well. They
Yes.
write a lot. They have videos. They have things to say, interesting things to say. So always what we're trying to convince people is, obviously you have to think about your paid product and locking it up and having something great of value there that people will be willing to pay hundreds of dollars for. But get some valuable pieces of that and give it out for free, either by creating a lead magnet, and most importantly, repurpose it for content. You have already the proper keywords because you know your subject, you know what you're talking about, so you probably know all the relevant keywords. And obviously a tool like Ubersuggest can help you get the different variations and see how other people are searching for similar things. So get stuff also on the outside for SEO purposes. Do the linking, internal linking, and then beg for people or reach out to your students. This is another great thing about course creators, that they have an audience. They have students, they even have fans. So all these people can help you spread the message. They can become ambassadors. They can give you a retweet. They can give you a backlink. And all these little things can gradually add up. And based on your content, by smartly repurposing all your content, not all of it will need super many hours of work. As you mentioned, like the 10% of the expert content can be the thing that can really, where you put lots of effort. The rest can be repurposed and you can create some great stuff.
That's right. And then if you already have the content, like you said, you create your course content, you can take pieces of that and create the free content using it. So it's not like you have to recreate everything. You can repurpose, which makes it much easier.
Another question here. SEO, one of the channels. People always ask us, however, like SEO, it will take time. I have to publish and publish. Is there something that I can do like today, this week, to some other channels that I could start building an audience or finding an audience? Should I go into paid ads? Should I start paying Facebook or paying Google? Or who should I pay if I want to get a kickstart much sooner? What would be the first channel to use on my marketing?
So yeah, if you want to kickstart, because SEO takes a while, if you want to kickstart and get results right away, the easiest, especially if you're selling courses or you're starting with e-commerce, is Facebook ads and Google ads. That's what I would do. And over time, you can work on the SEO and some of the other channels, but paid ads are effective because you spend $1, And hopefully, I say hopefully, you can make $2, $3, $4. If not, you got to fine tune your funnel and your product and stuff like that so you can get more sales.
Mm. Another thing that people always come back to us is about how to strategically use free content. And here I'm turning to you because you're also an educator. You've created so many amazing videos, like short videos with tons of content, and that's part of your plan, of your strategy. You have free tools and you have free content. You don't even get emails for the kind of content that you create. How does a strategy help you grow your business? And is it something that course creators could emulate, the way you use free educational content to grow your business?
Absolutely. So I give away most things for free, including courses, because my ideal customer is a very large corporation like a Microsoft or Amazon or someone large, right? So I'm giving away a ton for free in hopes that one of these big companies, someone in their marketing department will read my stuff and say, hey, we want to hire this company to do all the marketing in Amazon or Microsoft or whoever it may be. And that's worked out extremely well for us. But what most people don't realize is it works extremely well for courses. So I used to have a course called Advanced Marketing Program. And we used to sell during our peak around $500,000 to $600,000 worth of courses per month. One course, that much revenue per month. And the solution was we just blogged, we gave a lot of information for free. We collected emails and we had them watch a webinar and we sold our course on the webinar. That's all we did. And we sold a lot of courses and a lot of content from that, or more so, a lot of courses, which was paid content, all from releasing free blog posts. Simple strategy. You create the blogs, you get the traffic using the strategies I talked about earlier, right? 40% time create basic content, 10% advanced, 20% time updating your old content, 30% of the time you spend on marketing. Then you collect emails, and from the emails, you can get them to watch webinars, buy courses, sell services. You can do anything. And you don't just have to do one or the other. We were selling courses and upselling them for people who buy our course, also done for you services. So there's many ways you can actually make a ton of money from the existing audience.
Mm. And this is another good thing about online courses, that they fit in everything that a company may do. So I always say that education is the best form of marketing. You can use your courses as lead magnets. In some
Yep.
cases, we advise get a few of your videos and just post them on YouTube so that people can sample, and like this can create even some SEO traffic on YouTube, or you be discovered here, and then you can give out your courses for free. But it can be an upsell, it can be a cross sell, you can be a service provider like a consultant, and then you can have a paid course after you do a consulting gig. You can also offer training for that business, just a private course that only the employees of that particular business can access. You can just copy that. It's easy because it's digital. So you just go to your platform, you clone your course, you customize it perhaps, and then we have some people that have multiple customers, even big customers like companies that you mentioned. So you can create your digital marketing course, or I don't know, conflict resolution within a work environment. You create the master course and then you do a digital copy, a clone, takes a couple of seconds, and then you customize it. You customize the design for Coca-Cola, and then you have Pepsi, and then you have Tesla or whoever, and it's the same content. Obviously you can do some customizations, but it's a digital product, so you can serve all those different markets. And also the new trend that we are seeing, not so new in terms of, like, we were seeing glimpses of that before, but now it's much more prominent. Businesses that have a product, either a software product or a physical product, that need to educate their customers. They need their customers to be close to the brand. So instead of having customer support and boring articles and perhaps, I don't know, manuals, paper manuals or whatever, they create an online course about how to use, I don't know, your coffee machine, or how to use your car, or how to use X software. So all these little academies are a tool of the modern digital marketer. Like, online courses become a great tool at the hands of a digital marketer for getting your your people, your audience from the door, like the top of the funnel, all the way to retention and upselling and cross-selling and keeping them there. So it's very very interesting what someone can do with that.
No, definitely. I totally agree with that. It's so powerful. You can use it for anything, like we have courses for our own internal employees. So then that way they can get onboarded faster and do better work for our customers.
Mhm.
And it's great training for them. And then they're happier because they're coming here and they're learning a lot as well.
Great, that's great. And just another question before we turn to the audience for a Q&A. We have a few minutes left. If you started today from zero, like you don't have your massive website and your ton of content and all the hundreds, if not millions, of people that visit your website every month, how do you start your digital marketing? You have a knowledge product, let's say, or an online course. How do you start from scratch? How do you build your audience? What would Neil do today if you don't have neilpatel.com anymore and you have to start from scratch?
I would actually create YouTube videos. So here's the thing, YouTube isn't that competitive. Unlike Google, YouTube SEO, YouTube wants to rank whatever videos do really well in the first 24 hours tend to rank really fast within like a few days, sometimes the same day at the top of YouTube, and they stick around. And we did a survey with our audience. Number one channel for revenue is SEO. Number two channel is YouTube. Second biggest refer for revenue for us. So what we ended up learning was if I had a course, I had no audience, I would just start creating YouTube videos. And what I would do is figure out what people are searching, what they're typing for. There's a lot of tools out there. You can use Ubersuggest for this. There's free versions where you just get keyword insights. Type in the keywords, figure out what people are searching for, create videos on those topics. And your videos need to be around 7 to 10 minutes in length, ideally. Give away a lot for free. Hook them at the beginning. There's a video that I want you to search for on YouTube called Hot HOT Script Sunny. So it's 3 words, HOT Script, and the last word is Sunny, SUNNY. And there's this lady named Sunny. She has this formula on how to create the ideal YouTube video to really hook people. Follow that, and it'll help you get subscribers and more people engaged in the video. Then the next thing I want you to do is once you release the video, pay a little bit to promote it, whether it's $50 on ads or $100. Because what you'll do is by promoting it, it'll cause a video to do really well in the first 24 hours. And that'll cause it to start ranking better. And if you do that for your next 10 videos, eventually you'll have subscribers on YouTube. And then whenever you release content, you'll get those views quicker. And as you're building the audience, another thing I do is I tweet out the video. I share it on all the other social sites. And if you have an email list, email it out to your audience, do push notifications, messenger blasts. Now, granted, most people don't have an audience, but that's what I would do. And if I didn't have the audience, I would just spend a little bit of money. And the more you spend on the video in the first 24 hours and the better it does, the more likely it is to rank at the top of YouTube. And when you do that, you'll start building audience. And at the end of your videos, I would have call to actions. Hey, if you want to learn more, make sure you subscribe to this channel, leave a comment if you have any questions. And I also tell them, check out my website. Like for mine, I give marketing tips. So at the end, I'll say, if you have any questions, feel free to leave a comment below and I'll answer it. And I always say that because the more comments you get, the more viral your video will get. And then after that, I also tell them, leave a comment if you have any questions. If you enjoy the video, like it, share it, subscribe to the channel. And if you just want me to do your marketing for you, check out my ad agency, NP Digital or Neil Patel Digital. And that's the ending of my video, right? It's that simple. I tell them at the end, again, I'll repeat because I know someone in the chat said they didn't quite get that. I end the video with, if you enjoy the video, like it, share it. If you have any questions, leave a comment, I'll answer it. And if you just want me to do your marketing for you, check out my ad agency, Neil Patel Digital. The comments, the likes, the shares get the video to spread more, and that all helps. When you tell them to go to your website at the end, you're also generating leads and traffic and conversions from this. So when you combine it all, you'll start doing really well on YouTube, and it's one of the best channels. I don't keep releasing content on YouTube daily, but I do weekly, a few times a week. And my YouTube channel can get 800 to 1.1 million views a month. Literally, that's a lot, 800,000 to 1.1. And it's all organic. I don't do ads anymore, haven't in years. And you can still do extremely well on YouTube if you just try it out.
That's great insights for everyone that's hearing that. Again, the good thing with course creators is that they can, most of them, they can create videos, and video is like the king of content. And a good thing with the pandemic is that we stopped being so perfectionist. I have done hundreds of discussions with people
Yes.
who came to us. They wanted to launch a course and they were budgeting, I don't know, a few 100,000, 6 months in order to have the perfect video, perfect setup, lighting, audio, whatever. And they never managed to launch a course at the end. While now everybody's used to having, cats, kids, dogs jumping. And if the content is good enough, and it gives out the value, and somebody that watches the content gets something like practical, they can go back and have an idea, or they understand the concept, and they can do it. Sometimes it's just good enough, so just like what's the motto, just launch it. Like sometimes it doesn't
Yeah.
have to be perfect. And also from our end, because we've seen this trend, and that's also part of the research that we have done back in the university. One of the major tools that we've added in the platform is the possibility of creating interactive videos, where you can get your plain linear, in some cases even boring videos. Not all videos, even if it's 7-minute videos, not all videos are very exciting, but you can add engaging elements on top of the video, like interactive quizzes, for example. A video plays, and then a question pops up and say, what is the best channel to use for your digital marketing? And then you have to click A or B, and based on the answer you might get something different, and then you have pointers. This is a site to behold. You might be explaining, let's say, a yoga position, and then the video pauses, and you have an arrow, and you have a frame, a border around where you should be paying attention. And this is something that, I mean, people used to find that very, very expensive. You needed like special software and an expert video
Yeah.
editor, whatever, and then the video would be impossible to produce. But right now, with a platform like LearnWorlds, you can get your ordinary video shot with a mobile phone. Like, it takes 5 minutes. You can get it to the next level with just a few clicks. So it's an amazing thing to be able to create such kind of content. So thanks for this advice. Let's go quite quickly to a couple of questions from the audience. We have here a question from Cosmina about using LinkedIn for promoting and selling B2B course sales. How do you see LinkedIn as a viable channel for course sales?
It works. We did that. It's expensive. Doesn't work as well as you think. YouTube works better for B2B course sales. LinkedIn, what we did was we released the same videos we put on YouTube on LinkedIn. So you get the traffic and then you promote your business or your course at the end. It generates some sales, but we found that we generate more off of YouTube. And the reason being is when you create a video on YouTube and you put it there, it can keep getting traffic year over year. If you put a video on LinkedIn, what happens is it does well for the first 24 hours, maybe 72 hours or a week, but then it's dead and then that's it. See, YouTube gets a lot of search traffic, so old content keeps doing well. And that's what we found that YouTube does better for B2B course sales, even for B2B, B2C as well.
Another question here by Alfredo about collecting cell phone numbers for SMS, like using SMS for marketing purposes. Is this still something that you would consider relevant?
We do. When we do our course sales, what we used to do is people watch a webinar when they register, we would ask them to put in their phone number. And for all the people that didn't buy, we would send them an SMS message and try to get them to buy, and it added a little bit more sales.
Nice, great. Another question here also by Alfredo about he's asking about your approach in marketing an online store, like with physical products, like fashion,
Yeah.
for example.
I would actually use influencers. The easiest way to market physical products right now is you go to LinkedIn, not LinkedIn, Instagram, TikTok, Snapchat, you get influencers to show using your product, not just talk about it, but that to show it. If you're selling pants, they got to wear the pants and show how it is and what they like and don't like. And then from there, they got to drive the traffic to a landing page on your site that has an influencer, their image with the product, selling it for you. And then you can get quite a bit of conversions from that.
That sounds like a great funnel. And just to mention that we also see that increasingly from our end, people combining physical and digital products. An example that comes to mind is one of our top customers. They're selling online courses, and they're giving a free book for every online course that you purchase, and they're selling books and they're giving out a free online course for each book that you purchase, and the sum is much larger than the individual sales that we have done either with one or the other. And we also see that with service businesses, where you do your gig. Let's say you advise a business on digital marketing, but then at the end they also get an online course for training their staff, and they have you at the top of their mind. They use this as their reference, and next time they will need help, they will come back to you because you are the de facto expert that knows about this stuff. So they would definitely have to go back to you. So it's influencers. It's something that it's very strong, obviously, in the digital marketing space, and lots of businesses as well use influencers. So this works quite well. How about affiliate marketing? Because affiliate marketing is one of the kind of it's become kind of a shady business. Like people are really, when they read about affiliate marketing, they're quite cautious at front because of like lots of things that have happened there throughout the years. Do you think that this is still a viable channel, and do you use it, or would you advise using that for online
Yeah,
courses?
affiliates are an easy way to generate sales or partnerships. I would recommend it because let's say I have a course on marketing and you have a course on sales. Anyone who's in my marketing course should know your sales course, and anyone in your sales course should know my marketing. You can promote me, I can promote you. That's an example of affiliates. It's
Hmm.
also known as partnerships or business development, and it works well. You just have to pick the right partners.
Hmm. Hmm. Great. And let's go to a final question here from Celine about any other marketing ideas for business consultants that want to work with large companies, like the example you mentioned before about, I don't know, landing Amazon as a customer or
Yeah.
something.
If you want to land big accounts, my advice to you is give a lot away for free. Really, the more you give away for free, the better off you are. And then offer free consultations as your lead magnet with companies that are qualified. So then they have to put in their company email address, their name. Majority of the leads will not be relevant. A small portion will, and then you would want to close a small portion on as clients.
Great, great. So closing now. We had a great talk today. We talked about the potential of online courses, and I would say our belief that the future of learning is online. We might see the situation stabilizing, but the future definitely is there, and so many billions of people have now been educated on online courses. So for our audience here who are aspiring to launch their their first online course or their next online course, what should be the one thing to do this week to get one step closer to their goal of launching a successful online course business?
Don't finish your course. The biggest mistake I see people making is they wait for their course to be fully done before they start marketing and getting out there. I say finish a few modules or chapters or whatever you want to call it, get it out there and get feedback. And as you're selling the course, keep finishing the course. It'll keep you on track and it'll get you out there. You can always make it better over time, but get feedback. You could spend 6 months creating the course. Just because you love it, your customers may not love it. Who cares if you love it? That's why I recommend getting it out there, getting feedback, and then continually creating more modules or chapters, whatever you want to call it, as you're selling it. That's the best way. People wait too long.
I love this advice. That's also has become our motto in 2020. Just launch it. Like, put it out there, get your feedback. Don't, it will never be perfect. It shouldn't be perfect. You will always hate your course, and this is going to be great because you're gonna continue improving it and selling it and creating different versions of your course. But you have to put it out there, put it in front of your audience. Not, don't ask your friends and your mama, because they will always give you, positive, great advice. Put it out there in front of actual people, your actual potential customers. Get it out there and start working on this. So Neil, I'm super stoked for all the great insights that you shared today with the Worlds of Learning audience here. I'm sure you were also headlining the first Worlds of Learning, so we're creating a small tradition here. Hopefully we'll have you for all the future editions of the Worlds of Learning. The future of learning is online. the future of business is online, actually. So let's go create some great things together.
Awesome. Thanks for having me. Take care,
Thanks,
everyone.
Neil. Thanks. Stay safe, everyone. Have a nice day, people.